What's going on, guys and girls? Rob here, and I'm going to make my Super Bowl pick in just a minute. Um, we're talking about the 49ers and the Chiefs, and they did see each other once this year, but it was in the preseason. Can't really go by that. Um, and 49ers went to Kansas City and won 27-17 preseason. Both quarterbacks played. Mahomes only threw the ball 10 times he was 8 of 10 for 126 yards with a touchdown. I think he only played like 2 drives. Garoppolo played, I think, 2 or 3 drives, 14 of 20, 188, 1 touchdown as well. Both of them, they said, look very sharp in that preseason matchup. So now I guess you got to kind of start looking at the teams these teams played and how well they played. Well, the 49ers lost 3 ball games all year. And first time they lost to the Seahawks in Seattle in overtime, 27-24. Seattle became a formidable foe the last half of the season, and they became somebody tough to play. And in Week 10, they beat the 49ers overtime with a field goal. Then they beat them in San Francisco. I'm sorry. Then San Francisco made the hike to Baltimore, and Baltimore beat the Niners by a field goal, 20-17. And then later in the season, you always got one game on the schedule that you're like, okay, what the hell happened? And it was the Falcons, 29-22. It should not have ever come down to the final week of the season with the Seahawks, but they came out flat and did not look good. Okay, that same thing can be said for the team they're opposing, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs, you've got, you mean that really happened game? Yeah, they got a couple of those. Yeah, that happened game. The Titans beat them 35-32 at Tennessee. Green Bay beat them 31-24. The Texans beat them 31-24. And even the Colts went to Kansas City and won 19-13. That's the WTF moment right there for those guys. The same as the Falcons. The Colts end up doing that, and it ends up being just an overall tough pick here. It really is. Offenses, I'll give Kansas City the edge. I think they're a little bit better offensively than the 49ers. I give Kansas City 93 on a 0 to 100 scale. And I give the 49ers 89 out of 100 on the offensive scale. Let's go to the defenses. The 49ers by far have the better defense. I give them 93 out of a possible 100 on defense. Where I give Kansas City 77. 77. Kansas City has holes in their defense, and we will find them this weekend, I think. Kicking games, pretty well even. I don't see a big difference there. Coaches, I do see a difference. There's one coach that has about 500 pounds of weight on his back this week if he doesn't win, or he's got that pressure on his back, and his name is Andy Reid. Andy Reid has a ton of pressure on him this week. And if they go into the second half losing, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, especially with the 49ers the way they are. 49ers have a great defense, and if they've got themselves 10, 12, 14-point lead, I think it's going to be tough. I realize Kansas City has a lot of speed, best speed of any team in the NFL, and nothing matches speed except unless you hit them. And I think they're going to punch him in the face and punch him in the face and then punch him in the face a little bit more. I see the 49ers jumping out to a lead. And then I see the Kansas City Chiefs making one hell of a dire comeback, coming up this much short. I've not heard anybody else come up with a score near this. And I think it's going to be the highest scoring Super Bowl ever. 45-42. 45-42. I like the 49ers. I see the 49ers maybe getting 3 touchdown lead. I think they're going to jump on them, and jump on them some more. Kansas City's going to have to open it up. They're going to have to go with 5 wides. They're going to have to go out and blow the doors off this team. I hope the 49ers don't play prevent defense all, the second half if they do have a lead. But if they do, they could lose this ball game. I think it's going to come really close. 45-42. I like the Niners in this game. But I think it's going to be a real high-scoring game. I really do. Do I see Brady staying? No. No. I think Brady's gone. I think Brady is gone. Why would he have sold his house? He would have not sold his house if he was going to stay. But the 49ers have one of the, let's say, top 6 or 7 defenses all time, I think, in Super Bowls. We'll take a Tampa defense, Chicago's 85 defense, Giants 86, Pittsburgh in the 70s. This team is right there. This team is just right there with them. They're not a bad defense. The best, I personally think, the best 49ers defense to ever make a Super Bowls. And this is what their 7th, 6th, or something like that. I think this is the best 49er team defensively. Offensively, no, they're not. But they're going to be playing in Miami. We got to see how much wind is going to be. If it's a lot of wind, I think it's even more advantage for the 49ers because Mahomes is going to be counting on the pass. If it's 15, 20, 25, 30 mile-an-hour winds, I like the 49ers even more. They have a stiff defense, and I think Mahomes will throw for over 300 yards, but I think Garoppolo is probably not going to have to. Garoppolo probably will throw for a couple hundred, but I think they're going to run all over the Chiefs. I really do. If they're not able to run on them, this could be a game that the 49ers could have a problem with. But I'm counting on them being able to run the football. 49ers 45, Chiefs 42. David Nemo's, yes, excited about red, white, blue race. No doubt about it. No doubt. You'll probably have it tomorrow. You'll probably get it tomorrow, dude. You'll probably get it. So we'll see what happens. I actually have a couple of chances on the boards. So I'm actually hoping to get my numbers here in just a little while myself. So I will see what happens there. We'll see what happens. 49ers definitely could lose this football game if they get too cocky or if they get into a shell defensively. I think they can get in a lot of problems. But if not, I think they're the better team here. I really do. I think they're the better team. Their offense is good, but not as good as Kansas City's, but their defense is so much better. And I like their coaching staff better. So much pressure on Andy Reid. Andy Reid, I think Kansas City's going to want some Kansas City fans are actually going to still want to fire him, even though he took them to a Super Bowl. If he loses this ball game, he has never been good in the big game. Go back and look, with Donovan McNabb and in the Eagles, the time that he took them. I mean, that was mismanagement of the clock, big time. Maybe the worst management of clock ever. in any game, not just Super Bowl, but it just ended up being the Super Bowl. And it was just, I mean, it was crazy. It really was crazy. Uh, Reed, I think, has some good coaches around him. He better hope he does. But um, 4-2, the two I wouldn't like too much. I never liked 2-8s, 2-8s and 6s. Never liked 2-6s and 8s. Not crazy about 9s either, but I don't like 2s. And, 1s are not the best thing to have unless everybody's scoring touchdowns. But I think there's going to be a lot of field goals. I think there's going to be a lot of 0s and 7s and 3s. That's what I would like this game. 0, 3, and 7. So I've got actually 2 squares, so I'll find out about mine. And I've got them two totally different places. So we'll see what happens. 49ers and Chiefs, I think they scored the most points ever in the Super Bowl. 87, 45, 42. I won't be surprised if it goes to overtime. But I think the 49ers will have them a comfortable lead. 14 points in the third and fourth quarter. And they've just got to hold on. They've got to hold on to it, the ball. And they cannot play loose defense. If that's the case, defensive coordinator really better tighten himself up and be like, okay, let's play. Let's play defense. But anytime you play tight defense with those wide receivers in Kansas City, you're going to get toasted. Sherman will get burned a couple times in this game, no doubt about it. That's why I say both teams are going to score so many points. Time of possession is going to mean a lot. The defense for Kansas City, defense for Kansas City cannot afford to stay on the field 42, 43 minutes. They cannot afford that. And Reed, we know how Reed's offense is. He likes to get out there, score as quick as he can. That's not thinking about your defense. At the end of the game, if this game is close, that can make all the difference in the world, how long your defense has been on the field. Don't forget, it's a 38-minute halftime. But it doesn't matter. If you get out there and run yourself to death in Miami with all of that humidity, you can't afford that. You cannot afford that at all. You got to hold defense. I mean, you got to hold the offense on the other team to as few plays as possible, and you want your offense to have as many plays as possible and keep that game close if I'm at 49ers. But I think they get a couple of mistakes by Mahomes, maybe a fumble or two, maybe even a kickoff return, 10, 14, 17-point lead. Then they're going to have to hold on for dear life because Kansas City will come out like gangbusters. The fourth quarter, don't be surprised if Mahomes throws for 200 yards just in the fourth quarter alone. That's why I say there's even a chance he may throw 400 or 500 yards. Don't be surprised about that. But I still say it'll be a losing effort just because the 49ers, their defense, I think will make a few plays in this game, a few more than Kansas City. If Kansas City's defense steps up in this game, the 49ers could be in some big trouble, especially if they're able to stop the run. If they're able to do that, 49ers could be in for a long day. They could get walloped. They could get beaten by 20 points. But if they're able to run the football, and I have not seen anything on Kansas City's side of the ball to say, yeah, I think they could stop, them from running, whatever. I think there's a good chance that if the 49ers get a lead like other teams have gotten leads on Kansas City, they're not going to come back. And I think that's what's probably going to happen. 45, 42, 49ers, and we'll see what happens, guys. You guys have a good one. We'll see what happens in the game, and I would definitely play the over. Definitely play the over. Before I would pick a team, play the over. I think 54 points is a joke. I think they could have 54 points by halftime. So Have a good one, guys.